Hi, you're watching AssemblyTV 2011. I'm Matthew Walster. We've just watched the Extreme Music Competition, and because I basically know nothing about music outside of Eurovision, I've got three friends here to explain to me a little bit about the Extreme Music Competition that we've just seen. So first of all, we've got Frankie. Hi, Frankie.
Hello there.
How are you doing?
Excellent, thank you.
Good, good, good. And next to him we have T101.
Yes, hello.
And you're also doing stuff with SceneSat this year, I believe?
Yes, yes.
Yep, brilliant. And then we have Insu at the end. How are you doing? Very good?
Yes.
Super. So we just had 15 entries in the competition. I was just next to Frankie at the time, and he had some quite interesting comments on it. We happened to notice there was quite a lot of NES entries, in particular sound chip, I believe, the VRC.
Yeah, was one which I used another sound chip with which adds a couple of channels.
Ah, okay.
So.
Okay. It gives you a bit better dynamic range or something, and more channels for it.
It adds channels, and you can do more oomph in there or similar.
Super.
Yes.
Okay. Well, since we've only got about 5 or 6 minutes for this, let's go through some of our more interesting entries. Not necessarily the best, but the more interesting ones. Was there anything T101 that you?
Yeah, I like the entry number 4 and 6. The 4 kind of brought to mind the power ballads of the 80s, except it could have used a bit stronger beat or a bit stronger percussion. But the number 6, which to us finished the title, was quite fun, and the track made me kind of smile. It was a happy tune, and it was quite clever as well. So I like that one, and everything else is pretty generic. So
fair enough. So Insu, one of the things I found with them is a lot of them tended to go on a little bit too long. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
Well, pretty much. But they usually make them so much because we have the time limit, and they just have to be that what they want to be at.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Frankie, once again, as we went through them, there were a couple where you said, I think it was called "Warp to the Present."
Yeah.
And it started off very, very cheesy and 70s and moved on. What was your feeling about Warp to the Present?
It's indeed it kind of started off 70s like Mario Zelda-ish, and then suddenly it jumped over into 90s Eurobeat completely. And I had visions of Steps live on stage and going, no, I don't want to go back to that era again of my life ever.
I think I said bubblegum pop or something. So the restrictions on extreme music, it obviously people have seen up there was a lot of NES, there was a lot of Amiga, there was a lot of PC Impulse Tracker and Milky Tracker and things like that. How do you think people treat the extreme music competition as opposed to something, say the freestyle music, where people use renoise and a lot more complex things? How do you think people are coping with that in today's music scene? Because you've got all these tools.
I think the actual music compo, the streaming music compo, whatever, the main music compo is kind of like a popularity contest nowadays. And if you make a crowd-pleasing track, you're going to win, and it can be totally crap. But if the gamers downstairs like it, then it's going to win.
Absolutely.
And if you want to do some real stuff, then you should do extreme music, and you should just try to use the tools given and the limitations given and do that, because the listening music compo is
You just
shit.
only need some internet meme and make music start from that.
Yeah.
So the question I was going to have for you was, for the past 15, 20 years now, people have been saying the scene is dead. And every single year, there's always something in every competition that makes you go, actually, that's really bloody good, and people put a lot of effort into it. Do you think the track scene we're slowly moving away from it, or do you think there's a revival? How do you think it's going on?
Well, it hasn't changed much since early 2000, but there's some interesting stuff popping up some then. Well, as I said, we'll see what happens.
Okay, any other comments you want to make about the extreme music combo, anybody? Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Was the last track.
Okay.
It sort of reminded me from the old Amiga track.
Okay.
It was I would say it was a rip-off.
Was that the Amiga 1200, Amiga AHX thing?
Amiga 500.
500?
Yeah.
Oh, the Pro Tracker
Yes.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, the one before it, the 1200 AHX one, I thought
That
was a
was
bit...
pretty good.
Yeah, the Reckless Decay.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it did seem to me that a lot of people have been listening to the old Amiga 500 demos, and also in the SCC64, you do feel rubber bubbling up every now and then. So it's taking to the classics and not maybe that much new invention in this competition, but which isn't bad. But people shouldn't be afraid to improvise a bit more.
Okay, I'm going to do something very unfair. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so what I'm going to say is, if you were to rate the Extreme Music Compo, do you have a favourite, and if so, what would you plump for?
I would go for the NES one with the extra sound chip just for beating the system.
Very good, very good. Do you want one?
My favorite is the entry number 6, Huria Redku Redke. It's a funny title, it's a funny track, made me smile, and it was well done, and that's my favorite for the combo.
Brilliant. Yourself?
Actually, my favorite one was the number 5.
Okay.
With Revenge.
Cracker. Yeah, the Atari ST one.
Yes, indeed.
For the
The
record,
code
mine was
porn,
number
Yeah,
8.
the code porn one.
Okay. So the Atari ST one was, they also had one in the fast music as well, I believe.
Oh,
Called
okay.
Maxi Miser or something.
I pretty much missed the fast music because I was fiddling with scenes out there. So.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, that's about it from Assembly TV for the moment. We're going to now go to the next competition, which is the graphics competition. So from Matthew Walster, from Frankie, from T101, and from Intel, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.